tabletop role-playing game crowdfunding projects coming to an end this year, this week, this month. It's always weird saying that, isn't it? It's the end of the year. We're traveling in time. It'll be a year from now on the 1st. So technically, we travel a year every day. Every day is New Year's, right? But for some reason, we picked January 1st to be the day that we celebrate the start of springing and the whatever. I don't know. Let's look at some Kickstarters that are coming to an end and see what, if anything, tickles our fantasy. Hopefully you are all well. You have survived the post-holiday blues, post-holiday hangovers, post-holiday food combos. It's Friday morning. You're up and you're ready to embrace a brand new morning. Thank you for taking time to hang out with me today. All right, first up we have from Severed Books, OSR Booster Zine, System Neutral, and Morka Borg. It's a largely system neutral D20 type thing for any fantasy concept. It's an RPG zine, $16 plus shipping gets you the PDF and the print version of the zine. This gets you weapons, armors, D20 charts, pieces of armor, new weapons, new fun ways to turn metal into meat and meat to metal. More of a catalog than an actual zine. It reads like kind of like my catalogs. You guys familiar with my Seth's Gear and Anime catalog that came out during 2024? Link down below. The winter, spring, summer, fall Seth's Gears and Anime catalog. We're working on the spring one right now. From Arden Creative, ARDANN, we have The Death of Hartwig Grimwald, a 5e one-shot for 5e. $5 for the PDF of this adventure. There's been a murder committed in a seemingly impossible way. All the guests are accounted for. There's been a murder in the locker room. You have to investigate. You have to solve the crime before the night is over and the murderer strikes again, and make sure you're not one of the murderer victims. The trouble is, this is 5th edition, which means your characters have access to things like spells, which kind of makes murder mysteries difficult. Any type of mystery, crime-based adventure sort of hits a wall in fantasy because magic circumvents all the things that would be in the criminal's favor in running a script like this, right? I mean, how was Duke so-and-so killed in that locked room? We were all here. There's no way any of us could do it. Well, actually, with magic, there's tons of ways any of us could do it. Well, I don't know how we're going to solve this. I don't know. Let's try magic. I'm going to cast, I don't know, Zone of Truth. Did you kill the Duke? So, yeah. Hopefully they offer some insight on how to get around the pitfalls of magic, because, again, it's very difficult to run this type of scenario when superpowers are involved. Moving on. Ooh, that's an interesting picture. From Navy Pink, Navypink, we have Heart of Darkness campaign book for 5th edition, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Do you know there already is a book called The Heart of Darkness, and it was made into a movie called Apocalypse Now? $60 for the PDF of the book. PLN $60 for the PDF of the book. I don't know what PLN is. PLN to US dollars. Polish Zoltry. The PLN is the Polish Zoltry, and it's 1 PLN equals 0.24 cents. So 60 PLN would be about $15. $15 for this thing. It's a 200-page 5e adventure for levels 4 to 10 with multiple dungeons and encounters and monsters. It's somehow related to Joseph Conrad's famous Heart of Darkness work, but also kind of vague. You have stuff, which I guess means somebody at some point of time in the adventure has to say, never get out of the goddamn boat. From Fleet Save Games, we have Civatis, Rise and Fall, a world-building and storytelling RPG using a original system. It's a zine, $10 for the PDF. It's a world-building RPG. You play as the archaeologists and storytellers and researchers who have discovered a forgotten civilization and created its history. Where did the civilization start? What happened? Why is it a thing? Blah, blah, blah. This sounds a lot like Microscope and Kingdom, where you describe the history of the campaign, which really works more of a board game, card game than it does as a role-playing game, because basically you're just telling the story of this world. It's like the first round of your Braunstein game. You're setting the history of the game, and then you're going to play out the various arcs. And if the playing out the various arcs isn't included, it's a kingdom building game. It's a board game. In order to make that interesting, you've got to give the players the chance to, in the first age, this happened, and we're going to play out those events for the next month, year, whatever. Then it works. From Andrew Dowell, we have The League, Ministry of Misfits. This is original system, core rulebook, $16 for the PDF. It's an alternate history RPG set in the late 19th century steampunk war. You are sailing in a Jules Verne-designed submersible where you will adventure and fight various underwater threats like Atlanteans and robots and underwater thingies and giant whales. It's a D6 dice pool. Narrative, loosely based on Blades in the Dark. It's a steampunk sailing campaign. And there's even a soundtrack. Hints. So if you're looking for an underwater-based, Jules Verne-themed voyage to Atlantis, deep sea, water world, everything takes place on or underwater. It's even got the voyage to the bottom of the sea look to it with the watery font, for those of us who remember Stingray or Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. I mean, sure, why not? I mean, it's just taking the trappings of what we already appreciate of that specific genre and then placing them in a vaguely new environment that is the ocean. And you just make most of the stories ocean-based or island-based or coast-based. You add the mysteries of the ocean and of the ever-present threat of, whoops, we sprung a leak. I think this could work. You'd have to have the right group who would be into that, idea that I can't just go off into town. Though you could, because there'd be islands and there'd be like floating cities built of various boats interconnected, which I love that image. Or the flying city from whatever that movie was, where London was a tank and it was eating up other cities, right? And there's an image towards the end of this city built together by various airplanes. And there was one at the beginning where all the little moving cities were interconnected to create sort of this big trade post, and then they split apart. You do the same thing with boats. That's your landmass. And then everything else is just adventuring in your submarine. And if you need to go out of the submarine in your little diving suit, there's your dungeons and your one-on-one encounters. You just add to that the idea of 3D combat and the ever-present threat of drowning. And this could work. This could really work with the right group. So yeah, this is cool. It is different. From Cayenne Collectives, we have The Granch's Great Griftmas Heist, a festive one-shot for $1. This is a Dungeons & Dragons D20 adventure. It's $1. It's a holiday-themed one-shot for high-level characters where you have to save the holiday from the Granch and his sidekick, who have come down to steal Christmas from the city and the people who live in the city. And you get new magic items and spells and potions and evil snowmen and the Granches, and you've got to save the people of Not Whoville. Bum, 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 bum. You're a mean one. Mr. Granch. Bum, bum, bum. You really are a great Griftmas heist. Yeah, it's the Grinch. Fun. For $1, why not? From DR Games, we have 2D6 Legendary Dungeon, a dungeon crawler. So 2D6 dungeon. Specifically, it says it's a solo roll and write dungeon crawler, but I mean, you could fit it to work with others, right? It's an expansion to 2D6 dungeon. You'll play a crawler entering a dungeon where you'll fight monsters and recover legendary treasures. Using dice, you'll roll on the chites to see where you go in the encounters and record your success. And there we go. So it's a solo play 2D6 dungeon crawl for $20. I'm sure you could easily hack it for other people, or if you just, got a lonely, quiet, rainy Saturday and you want to play a little goofiness, it's like, I got my piece of paper, I got my 2d6. How far can I go on my own? We're seeing more and more of these solo games. So yeah, I think I'm calling it as my bet for 2025 that 2025 will unofficially be the year of solo role playing. There's going to be other things, obviously, that happen, but I think that's one of the things that's going to stick out is the increasing popularity of these solo games. I don't know what this says in regards to our society as a whole, that we prefer to hang out with ourselves instead of be with others because we've just grown so tired of being around people and the conflict and the toxicity. It's like, I could go and play with those guys, but I fucking can't stand them, so I'll stay home and play by myself, which just sounds wrong. From Jessica Feinberg of Rare Dragons, we have fantastical arts, game mat, stickers, pins, and more. This is artwork. $32 for a game mat as well as extra. It offers fun, whimsical artwork focusing on images like this one, Jessica Feinberg. So basically, it's a collection of Jessica Feinberg's art that's been converted to things like pictures, stickers. We all know I love stickers, game mats, whatever else, play mats. So yeah, basically, it's just she's made her art available, and Rare Dragons is taking the art and placing it on different things like magnets, pins, game mats, whatever. Obviously, there's got to be more things than just the game mat because she mentions the stickers and the pins, but sure, whatever. We'll post a link to that one for anybody who's interested in checking out her art. And that's it. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. That's it. This one sounds fun. This one has a lot of possibility. I'm kind of interested to see where the growth of this goes. This is $1. How can you not? I mean, even though Christmas is technically over, you could save it for next year, or you could run it now because chances are you took a Christmas break. And who doesn't want a chance to play through the Grinch and, maybe beat up the Grinch, or more likely help the Grinch, knowing most players. I like this more than I thought I would. The more I think about this idea, I think this would work really cool with the right group. This has been done. It's Kevin Crawford's Cities Without Numbers / Microscope. So unless he's offering a new, different way to approach that mentality, and maybe incorporating some of the ideas of, I'm going to use the word just to piss off Griff, Braunstein, where in addition to creating each age, you play out the events of those age on a macrocosmic and microcosmic scale. I'd check out the stuff that Harmony Ginger has done for more on that. I'll put on a link. I don't know about much of this. Doesn't really tell me what it is, other than it's an adventure based loosely on Joseph Conrad. Okay. I have a trouble with this one. Like I already said, it's very difficult to run a D&D mystery with magic. So I hope that they include rules for magic, and how to run a successful mystery where the player characters have the ability to resolve the situation with a snap of their fingers, have they memorized the right spells. And then more OSR love for $16. If you love the OGL OSR D20 system neutral ideas, and these zines are always great. I always highly recommend zines. So that's a good smorgasbord of stuff. All these are ending soon. If you want to jump on the bandwagon and grab any of these, links down below. Let me know if you pick any of them up and what you thought about them. That's it. This is the last. Let's see. We'll be doing this again in January. Yeah, January 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So this is the last one for the year. Hopefully you have appreciated this experiment and want to see me continue. If you do, let me know. If after a year or longer of me reporting this news and blatantly copying EN World, you're like, dude, stop talking about this, let me know. Remember, this is your channel, and the growth of the channel is totally reliant on you, the fans. So let me know what you want to see next year. Until then, thank you very much again for taking time out of your morning every week to listen to me pontificate and blather and be a general silly goof in regards to the subject of Kickstarters. I appreciate every one of you. Well, most of you. Yeah, 99% of you. And I'm grateful that you take time to hang out with me. So see you next time.